The force from that industrial garden hose hit my 7-year-old son so hard it knocked him right out of his wheelchair and face first onto the concrete. And Cordelia just stood there, both hands tight on the nozzle, water still blasting while my boy lay there not moving. I'll never forget that look on her face either. A perfect little smirk, lipstick all neat like she'd just taken out the trash and was pretty darn pleased with herself. What she didn't know, and honestly what nobody on that street could have imagined, was that in exactly 4 minutes, the director of the CDC was about to call my personal emergency line, and her neat, tidy world was going to blow up in ways she'd never seen coming. I know these stories matter, especially for families like mine, folks who get ground down by the little cruelties people think nobody notices. So, if this one hits you where you live, I hope you'll hit that share button or just stick around and listen. I'm Dr. Thaddeus Ashcraft, but around here, everyone just calls me Thad. That weird stay-at-home dad with the secretive work-from-home job, always pushing his kid in a wheelchair to school coaching soccer on the weekends, showing up to the PTA meetings, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. What they never see is the encrypted phone calls at sunrise, the classified briefings that hijack dinner, or the black SUV that parks 3 blocks away every night pretending it's lost. My son Kieran was born with spina bifida, paralyzed from the waist down, but blessed with a mind sharp as a tack and a spirit that lights up a room. At 7, he moves through the world in a custom racing wheelchair, electric blue-silver lightning bolts, and he named it Thunder. Watching him fly down the block in that chair gives me more pride than anything the federal government ever gave me. So, Tuesday morning, ordinary day, I'm scrambling eggs, fielding a text marked urgent from the Secretary of Health, promising to get notes on some pediatric care plan to the president's team before lunch, trying not to burn the toast. Kieran rolls in bright as ever, asking if he can do some speedruns before therapy. He's gotten so independent lately, straps his own helmet, wheels himself outside, dead set on beating yesterday's time. I see Cordelia, Mrs. Ashworth, HOA queen, and walking caution sign emerging from her mansion across the street. Hair helmet, perfect blazer ironed clipboard in hand. It's her morning ritual, stalking the sidewalks for violations, cataloging unapproved chalk art and grass that's a half-inch too tall. What most people don't know is 3 years ago, her little boy Brandon died in a playground accident and something inside her broke. Since then, it's been safety rules on top of rules. No bikes after 4 p.m., no skateboards ever. Sidewalk chalk needs written approval. Her latest crusade banning anything she calls mobility devices that encourage reckless behavior. That's Kieran's wheelchair, apparently. Kieran lines up at the top of our driveway face, shining, just ready to roll. He's been training for a school competition, and honestly, it's the only thing that gets him out of bed some days. He pushes off Thunder, zipping down the pavement. And that's when Cordelia spots him. Her jaw goes tight. You could see it from half a block away. And she power marches over like she owns the place. I grab a dish towel, step outside because experience has taught me you always want witnesses with Cordelia. She yells, "This reckless behavior stops now." Kieran looks up confused and embarrassed, apologizing in that innocent way only a kid can. Did I do something wrong? Mrs. Ashworth clipboard raise. Cordelia launches into HOA Safety Code 47B. No speed-capable devices on sidewalks liability. This precedent that I do my best to keep calm, but the anger's rising. Cordelia, this is a manual wheelchair and the ADA guarantees his rights. These sidewalks are city property. She doesn't care. This is a private community and I'm not letting one family endanger everyone else. That one lands. Kieran's face just collapses. Confusion, shame, the whole deal. I step closer trying to steady things. What you're doing? It's discrimination under federal law. Cordelia just laughs sharp and nasty. I don't care what fake credentials you think you have. I'm the HOA president and your son's racing ends today. Right. Then my secure phone buzzes. President's chief of staff. I try to ignore it, but she catches me and suddenly it's, "See, you're too busy to supervise your disabled child. That wheelchair is a weapon." Neighbors peek out. Penelope Fairchild on her porch. Montgomery across the street, phone in hand, quietly filming. Kieran whispering, "Dad, I don't want to cause problems. Maybe I should practice somewhere else." That broke me. This brave kid working twice as hard as anyone else, ready to give up because of one bitter woman. Nobody. You belong here. And then finally, I lose my patience. This conversation is over. Karen will keep doing his therapy, and that's final. Cordelia storms off, muttering about emergency meetings and citations. I help Kieran back up the driveway. Why does she hate me, Dad? I crouch down, searching for words that wouldn't break his faith in people. She doesn't hate you. She's sad about something that happened a long time ago. Sometimes that kind of sadness blinds people to the good in front of them. Later that day, the first official letter arrives. 17 violations certified mail, as if she couldn't just knock on the door. Each one more ridiculous than the last. I've seen bureaucratic harassment, but Cordelia is taking it to a new level. Then my phone rings. Dr. Holloway from the CDC. Thaddeus, can you sign off on new protocols? I tell her about Cordelia. She gets quiet, then says, send me everything. The Justice Department's looking for clear-cut cases like this. So, I start documenting every letter, every threat, every attempt to block Kieran from using public spaces. She thinks she's playing HOA hardball, but she's building a federal case against herself. Next morning, someone has timed the sprinklers to flood our sidewalk right as Kieran's supposed to leave. Cordelia stands by, arms crossed, watching. Is this going to happen every day? He asks. Not for much longer, I promise. But I'm running out of patience. Harassment ramps up. Her Mercedes blocks our ramp, waiting for maintenance. Child Protective Services shows up on a bogus complaint. Kieran starts asking if we can just move. That's when my secure line rings again. Dr. Ashto, this is DC Metro Police. We're picking up odd surveillance around your location. Any local threats? As I'm talking, Kieran's outside prepping for one last speed run, determined not to let Cordelia win. And that's when it happens. Cordelia, no clipboard today, but a heavy-duty hose in her hands, walks right across the street, eyes cold as ice. Kieran doesn't see her coming, focused on his run. She stands at the end of our drive, lifts the hose, and as he rolls onto the sidewalk, she blasts him with a jet of water. So hard it knocks thunder sideways and flips him to the concrete. I'm screaming his name, sprinting. Cordelia stands over him, hose still gushing, face twisted with satisfaction. That's what happens when kids don't follow the rules, she says. I drop to my knees, checking Kieran for injuries. Panic fighting with medical training. He comes to scared hurting. Dad, why does my back hurt? My heart stops. Spinal injury. I call 911. Voice shaking and Cordelia just stands there, arms folded. Maybe next time you'll supervise your child. I nearly lose it. You assaulted a disabled child. I defended the community, she says. Cool as ice. The dispatcher's voice changes the second I give my name. Your address is flagged for federal priority. Dr. Ashcraft off confirmed status. Cordelia goes pale. I give my authorization code. 90 seconds later, the street fills with black SUVs, sirens, paramedic Secret Service. Cordelia is frozen hose dangling, watching her empire crumble. Agent Davidson introduces himself. We need to secure your son and establish a perimeter.
Nebor pour outphone everywhere.
Montgomery calls out, I have it all on video.
She targeted him.
Mrs. Fairchild trembling. She's been harassing them all week. The paramedics work on Kieran dad. Is Mrs. Ashworth going to jail? She's going to face consequences, son. As they take him away, Cordelia gets read her rights right there on the sidewalk. Assault on a federal dependent violation of disability rights conspiracy. Neighbors don't step in to help her. They're tired of being afraid. At the hospital, it's a blur specialist test, but thank God Kieran's spine is okay. Just bruises, scrapes, and a shaken spirit. Agent Davidson updates me. Ma'am Ashworth is in custody. DOJ's treating this as a federal crime. The neighborhood changes overnight. People start talking, sharing their stories. The HOA dissolves Cordelia's rules. Votes are out. And within days, the story's national news. Video of the attack goes viral. Disability rights conversations sweep the country. Kieran becomes a symbol not just of survival, but of change. At the trial, Cordelia's lawyers spin their story, but the jury sees right through her. Karen's testimony is simple. I just wanted to get faster so I could race with my friends. I didn't know why she was so angry. Guilty on all counts. Cordelia gets 15 years, no parole for 7. Judge says this is one of the most callous attacks on a disabled child I've seen. A civil settlement funds a $15 million foundation for adaptive sports. Kieran insists the first wheelchairs go to kids who need the most. The neighborhood blossoms new policies for special needs families and crazy enough property values go up. Kieran, he's a local legend. His story helps pass new state and federal laws. 3 years later, Cordelia writes from prison says Karen's forgiveness saved her life that she's trying to understand now. That garden hose still sits in our garage, a reminder how fast ordinary things can become weapons in the hands of someone consumed by grief and anger. But every morning, Kieran flies past it. Thunder's wheels humming, chasing bigger dreams. Last month, he qualified for nationals racing kids twice his age. At the championship, Mrs. Fairchild waves from her porch. That boy changed all of us. Karen takes second place. Gives a speech about courage, forgiveness, and community. And later, over ice cream, he says, "Dad, I'm glad she hurt me because now other kids don't have to be afraid."
He's right.
Sometimes the worst things force the world to change for the better. So, let me ask you, when a neighborhood war explodes like this, who's really to blame?
And what does justice look like?
Drop your thoughts below.